Hello everyone, PolishLynx here, and let's continue the story of Narcissu, side second. Able to do? I can do magic too? Well, I don't know if it's magic. Holding the rosary in her hand, the girl looked happy. Normally, patients of the 7th floor were admitted and discharged a number of times. But for the girl, there was no home to return to. That was why she was always here. That was why I too was always by her side. Nello and Alois met, and soon it would be the 2nd month. Normally, it was the time that the first discharge would have come. Of course, I finished the previous episode in a very bad moment, because the chapter just ended. Here, today's lunch. I'll be going. Just like always, with lunch in hand, I headed to the hospital. Even though it was already halfway through August, the hot days still seemed to be continuing. The 7th floor. To the nurses whose faces I had become familiar with, I lowered my head slightly in greeting. What I then saw in the hall was a number of patients. Since it was right when the morning temperature examination ended, they had probably come with their helpers for a walk. Suddenly, while looking at those people with white wristbands, a thought came to me. Of the residents of the 7th floor, couldn't they be divided into two groups? The patients who seemed almost to have taken a philosophical view and were calm, and those who seemed to always be busy doing something. It's fine, I'll be firmly supporting you. Hearing a voice I recognized, I turned around and there was Chihiro-san. She was with an elderly lady in a wheelchair. Most likely, the person was Chihiro-san's assigned person. Say, a walk again later? Could we do that? Let's see. When the sun fades a bit more, let's go into the courtyard. With a calm way of speaking, she turned her usual gentle face to the elderly lady. Say, Chihiro-san, will you do that thing you always do? Yeah, I can. I had thought she would answer that way as she quietly joined her hands and lead us into temptation. And she offered a prayer, a number of other words following. Say, Setsumi-san? Do you always pray like that? Because praying for someone is a good thing. Chihiro-san answered with her usual kind expression. But at those words, I felt something that tugged at me. For someone. That was why I decided to ask a direct question. It can be for yourself. Her words stopped. There was no more response from her. The usual gentle face was also gone. The first time I saw that expression on Chihiro-san, a simply troubled face looked at me. Again, like before, Himeko-san was gazing at the maps. At my entering the hospital room, she just gave me a brief glance, her eyes soon returning. Is it interesting? Does it seem that way? As I answered, I sat down next to her and gazed at the maps also. Just as I thought, this sort of act couldn't be considered fun, but these maps, what were they to Himeko-san, I wonder? Even the 7th floor people who seems to have taken a philosophical view on everything, perhaps they too wavered with some regrets. If one were to compare, then we are the condemned. Eh? We've been only informed that we'll die, but that day, when it will come, is unknown, so we are hounded by that limited time. The condemned. Now that she said it, one could also almost agree. Just as I had thought just before, on this 7th floor, there were people who were always busy. Rather, one could even think that because they knew they were dying, they were trying to be lively. Or perhaps, for people, for being aware of death, maybe that's the first time they also able to become aware of life. Those who are calm, those are probably the ones who have already prepared themselves. Or perhaps, those who pretend that they have. And Himeko-san is? Of course, the latter. At this age, there isn't anyone who could prepare themselves. She declared it plainly. If that weren't true, then I wouldn't be talking about the 10 things I want to do before dying. Now would I? Saying just that, once again Himeko-san gazed at the maps. Then she turned to me, who was gazing at the maps in the same way. Setsumi, your hair, it's growing long, isn't it? It might be. Now that she mentioned it, it might have gotten a bit longer. This month, Mother hadn't cut it for me yet. Shall I cut it for you? Come, One-san here will cut it for you. At this sudden offer, I couldn't really grasp the situation, but Himeko-san was already walking ahead and I followed her after. Then, when we came in front of the nurse's station, she turned to the nurse inside. Hey, I'd like to go up so you could lend it to me. There's nothing wrong with that. Is it a haircut? Yeah, there's no wind today after all. Then, after taking something from the nurse, Himeko-san once again walked down the hall. Setsumi, over here. Walking a bit, the place we finally stopped at was the end of the hall. To be correct, it was just where you got off the emergency stairs, in front of an always closed, large metal door. Up until now, I had never seen it open, but probably this was the entrance for the roof. And here the key comes on stage. For a second, the world turned pure white. When my eyes adjusted, what appeared before me was strong wind, summer sky, high fence, as laundry items sheets fluttered in the wind. Today, the weather's nice, isn't it? It's perfect haircutting weather. Looking up at the sky, Himeko-san spoke up. This is the first time, right? Coming here. First. Well, that's normal. For hospitalized patients, it's a place they're absolutely forbidden to come, after all. The treason, even without saying, couldn't be imagined. A fence about the same height as the 7th floor ceiling. What reason put it there was simple if you thought about it. So, shall we cut her? You're really going to do it? It will be fine. Even looking like this, honestly, he's as good at it. As she spoke, she pointed to a small bench before us. So, first have a seat there. And then she took out a big, clear, white garbage bag. Next, put your head through here. Probably cut with scissors. There was a hole just large enough to pass one's head through a garbage bag. When I put my head through a stall like a barbershop's cover, it totally covered my body. And then, before my eyes, she made the scissor go swish, swish. Well, miss, how long will you like it? Miss? Summer, like really short? How does that sound? No, don't cut it really short. Just a trim. Understood. While laughing and running through with a brush with a practiced hand, Himeko-san then began cutting. Snip, snip. The delightful sounding swish of scissors. Just now she seems to be trimming the hair in the back for me. If she cut it strangely, that'd be bad. While holding that thought, I also considered other things. She said that hospital patients couldn't come to this place. That reason even I could understand and be satisfied with. Then, unheeding of the fact that she was a resident of the 7th floor, why was it that Himeko-san could come here like this? Was it because she was a former helper that she's trusted? Hey, Setsumi, what are you concerned about? Is it your own hair? Or is it something else perhaps? There's something else. It's fine. Well, I will answer it for you. By being a former helper and therefore being trusted, that's not the reason. Then what? See, even in these modern times, it's one of the prohibited acts for Catholics. At first, I didn't understand what she was saying, but I soon realized. Suicide. For a former Catholic, you're still trusted, aren't you? Really, makes you want to betray their expectation and whim and try jumping past the fence, doesn't it? As always, Himeko-san said something where I couldn't tell if she was serious or joking. Thought likely she wasn't, but just if suddenly she ran towards the fence, what would I do? Right now, I was the only one here. Somehow, while thinking only about that, I started feeling uneasy. Okay, something like this perhaps. Alright, miss, the cutting is over. Thank you. As I replied, I accepted the hand mirror and looked at my hair. Whoa, the bangs. When I looked about 2 centimeters above the eyebrows, it was cut straight across. It's like a Japanese doll or a child at the Shichigo-san festival. They celebrating children aged 7, 5 and 3. Okay. It's cut. Setsumi. Well, you are busy worrying about the other thing after all. You're a girl, so you should worry about your own hair. At my slightly sulking face, Himeko-san looked like she was enjoying herself even more. No matter how much you say it, it suits me. Or is cute. Laughing like that, there's no persuasive force behind it. Helplessly I gave a sick. Then I asked about the thing that I had sensed from before. Say, this is just maybe, but are you seeing someone else in me? Quite the perceptive question, that one. And then when she thought a bit, half of it might be that. Then the remaining half, that's a secret. This was also made a secret. It was the same with the rules from before. Once in a while, there were things that Himeko-san wouldn't talk about. Well, shall we go back? Putting away the scissors used, the two of us then cleaned the space of Himeko's barbershop. Then, just when I thought she was walking towards the door we entered from, Suddenly Lucid stepped and turned around. That's right. About that final one. I'm thinking that it might be about time. The final one? About time? Most likely, it was probably referring to what she had said before. Then, 10 things to do before dying. Are you planning on going somewhere again? Okay, this is not bad. Let's finish it here. See you in the next one. Bye.